A pandemic of violence floods the streets of major cities as cases of the media-dubbed murder virus, MV20, soar, causing those infected to go on killing sprees. Caught in the middle, police detective Angela Miller finds her only trustworthy ally in the self-proclaimed psychic PI, Gerald Henry. As the two try to navigate the violence, they are drawn into New Age guru Abramelin Harvest's plot to heal the planet. Harvest's missive:
the world is sick, and humanity is the infection.
The cure: murder. From the twisted mind of Sean C. Baker, author of A Collection of Desires and Shadowplay in Book 1, Kim and Jesse, comes his most vicious novel yet, Murder Virus. Available where books are sold.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision Horror Podcast. I'm Sean, and I'm joined today by
Kenta.
And Madison.
And we just saw the new movie written by Kevin Williamson, who everyone will know as having written Scream, and Caitlin Crabb. This is directed by John Hyams. Movie is called Sick. So this was Friday night at Beyondfest at the Aero Theater in Santa Monica. So this is going to be a 100% spoiler-free reaction because this movie, I don't even know when this movie's coming out. I believe it said something about September 24th, but there's no trailers. There's not. I couldn't even find a thumbnail for
November.
This movie. Maybe it's...
Well, I saw something that said September 27th.
So I saw the same thing at some point when we were looking around online and earlier, and...
Oh, yeah.
It just says release date 2022.
Yeah, so when this hits, I don't know. But at any rate, so, I mean, really, this is the new Kevin Williamson movie. That was all I knew about it when I bought the tickets, and... I knew nothing else about it. I'm not a huge... Scream is an amazing screenplay. It's a great movie. But I don't necessarily follow Kevin Williamson. Not for any reason other than I just don't. He's not really on my radar. I don't know about you guys. How you feel about... No?
Yeah. Not really.
I'm a super casual movie watcher.
Yes. Which is good because we get your perspective. Because I feel like I'm a little bit rabid. And I feel like you might be
biased. I'm extremely biased when it comes to I like this because I watched it when I grew up, and Kent is tearing that shit to shreds. This was stupid and I hate it.
What is this Fox and the Hound?
I don't give a fuck about this kid in a wheelchair. I hope he gets eaten by that fucking werewolf. Just
really hot takes.
I think that is an actual quote from when we watched Silver Bullet.
Yeah, he hated Silver Bullet, which makes me sad because Gary Busey. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, I didn't see Silver Bullet as a kid, so I didn't really give two shits about that movie watching it as an adult either. I mean, it was fine, and maybe also I think I fell asleep. Because we would do the double headers at my old place, and on a Saturday night, and we'd be drinking and eating a bunch of food, and there'd be a bunch of us, but it would normally be by the second movie, I would just knock out. Not always, but a lot of times. And I think the first movie that night, as you pointed out earlier, was Dog Soldiers. So I was definitely awake for that, because that's gold. Anyway, this is not a review of Gary Busey's performance in Silver Bullet, as much as everybody here and listening may want it to be.
Yeah. It'll be close, though.
It'll be close. So, Sick stars Jane Addams, who I feel like... What don't we know her from? I mean, I feel like she really got on my radar by name in Twin Peaks: The Return, but I just looking at her IMDb, I didn't realize because it's been many years, but she's in Todd Solondz's Happiness, Which, if you guys have, oh my god, it'll just scar you for life.
I just always, a friend of ours told us to watch that, and the description in my notes, because I have a list of movies, obviously, it just in quotes next to it is, or in parentheses is really fucked up movie, because that's how he described it.
It is really fucked up. Dylan Baker is.
I fucking love Dylan Baker.
You'll love him in this, but it's oh my god, it is a messed up movie. Really messed up.
I always picture Miss Jane Addams from Frasier.
Oh, that's right.
Unfortunately, a huge Frasier fan.
No, don't be important. That's like one of the few sitcoms that like holds up. You know, it's not just like a bunch of fucking bullshit.
True. No, it's still really, really funny. It's just Kelsey Grammer, I guess. Apparently, sucks.
Really?
We're not talking about that.
So Jane Addams, Mark Menchaca, who I feel like everyone will just know from Ozark as Russ Langmore. Mm-hmm. He's also in Homeland. He's in Jack Ryan. He's in a bunch of stuff, but I really like him. Gideon Adlin, Dylan Sprayberry, Charla Boccaccio, and Bethlehem Million. I'll just stop there because there's a few other people. But this was clearly a movie that was made under like Deering, and Kevin Williamson was there afterwards and was interviewed and talked about how they made this pretty early in the pandemic. So I feel like you can see that. I feel like we're now starting to get a lot of movies that were shot during the pandemic are now being released, and so you can see where it's a small cast or it's in an isolated area. At any rate, so what did you guys think? Without going into any spoilers, what did you think of Sick?
I really enjoyed it. At the end of the movie, during the Q&A, someone brought up that it's just a really lean slasher.
Yeah.
And so like, it gets right to the point, and it starts off sprinting, so it's really fun.
Literally.
Yeah. I had a good time. There's like some jokes in there. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah. And it was put together so quickly, but it feels so like you can really tell they were professionals because of how quickly they did it and how like it's clean. There's nothing. Yeah, streamlined.
Yeah.
That's good.
There's no.
Yeah, and it's a small cast too, so that probably helps. Mm-hmm. Everything he said, I agree. I thought it was a really, really fun movie. Going in knowing absolutely nothing. I think on the way there, you were like, "Oh, it's Kevin Williamson." I was like, "Great! I don't know who the fuck that is." You're like, "Oh, Scream." I was like, I know that. Sorry, Yell. Yeah. I really.
That's my movie.
Sorry, my bad. I really liked it, and like how Kenta was saying earlier, it was a really quick movie. I think they from conception to end of filming, I think they said 9 months or something like that. 10 months, something really crazy. They started writing in September, and they finished filming in June.
That's
something stupid like that, and it doesn't seem rushed or anything like that. It was just, and I think they finished shooting in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
That's
21
insane.
days.
21 days.
That's
yeah,
insane.
That's crazy.
And there is some really. I mean, so there's a lot of action, not like Stallone action, but like there's a lot of running. There's a lot of struggling between 2 or 3 people. It's I feel like a lot of complicated shots to pull off. And now part of that though I think is if you watch, I do feel like what the cinematographer Yaron Levy, I feel like they did a lot of stuff where it was either close or like the running would be the camera was also running, or it was tight on some of the like wrestling or like struggle shots where it became not really positive. Wasn't really choreography so much as, I mean, I'm sure there's always still choreography, but it wasn't like an action movie where the fights or the struggles are choreographed to the point of they're almost like dancing between
it's like
two people.
You can see them like counting, like I'm gonna move my arm here.
Exactly, and this was way more like
frantic.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think the shooting it like that definitely added to kind of putting you in the character's shoes, and it also probably simplified it a little bit for their time frame, right? So it accomplished both, but it fit, and it adds to the overall visual language of the film, which I feel like the whole visual language of the film is very frantic.
Yeah.
And it's like what you said, Kenta. It really starts out like running, and you get an initial like introduction. Okay, so this is what we are. So there's like a fodder character, and then most slashers. Oh, here's like 10 or 15 or whatever. They're gonna go to this camp, or they're gonna go wherever, and they're gonna be picked off. There's no picking off.
Yeah.
Like it is literally like the killer wants to kill this person, and that is what they're trying to do for most of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And to sustain that and not have it get old,
Yes.
really is incredible. And that was kind of because I kept thinking like, man, it just gets right into it so quickly. How is this not gonna? And there is a beat that changes things up a bit when somebody arrives in a car, and you think it's one thing and it's something else or whatever. That definitely kind of reset the stage per se,
but it still keeps it tense.
it still keeps it it's never not tense.
And I would always say like just the shots, like nothing's even really happening. It's just okay, the camera is here, and then you're kind of as like movie fans, especially horror movie fans, you're like, why is the camera over there? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
why is it so wide?
Why is it so like right? Is this a point of view shot right now, or is this just a really cool angle?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if there's that part where two of them are talking outside, but then
Yes.
I don't know, is that a I'll not, just in case. I'll not.
Okay.
I mean, nothing happens, but the camera is somewhere else, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Why is it there?
Yeah.
I mean, and then nothing happens. But that part was tense for me personally, because I was like waiting for something to happen. It was all pretty, yeah. And then then there's like a whole shift. The music starts, literally the music starts, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
I really liked it.
Yeah, and I liked watching them fight. It always feels like raw.
Yeah, definitely.
There's like that primal survival, and it didn't feel forced. It allowed you to suspend disbelief.
I mean, because it's kind of a slasher thing, is to be contrived, because slashers kind of exist like, well, we're a slasher movie, so you take the set of tropes that people are used to and you apply it to your movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, some do it to better success than others. Some hit like nostalgia beats, some just fail totally, but overall, like, it's, that's just kind of what it is. But this is a slasher movie, but it's just not that at all.
Yeah, so, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I liked that, like, piggybacking off what you were saying, Kenta, I felt like the fight scenes felt like, and also like what you were saying earlier, they felt real, not just because of the shaky camera or how it was up close and maybe not as choreographed, but like the way that they fought back, because it's always slasher versus whoever they're trying to fight, and then it's like, oh, that was pretty outlandish for either one of them to do what they just fucking did. But in this movie, it was like, oh, this makes sense. They're like, I felt they both struggled trying to fight each other. Do you know what I mean? So it made it feel really realistic. It's like, oh man, okay, woof, we're seeing them both sweat.
And I think, so there's a lot of that. I always noticed that. And so before Scream 5 came out, I've seen the original Scream a handful of times. And it is, I mean, it's an excellent movie. And it's a fantastic screenplay. The second one I fucking hate. The third one I mean, we were like, Kirsten's like, oh, we should watch the Screams. I was like, yeah, okay. And I had never seen 3 or 4. I didn't get to 4. I was literally like, I'm boycotting 4 because I fucking hated 3. And I actually, I like 2 had like a few moments. I was like, okay, but overall I didn't like that either. What was my point? So point being, this movie has a similar thing, because Williamson wrote it, with Scream, where in Scream, when Ghostface is chasing somebody, like, they will sometimes hit him and he'll go down.
Yeah.
Like he takes, like, some abuse, and I like that because it makes clear right away this isn't like Michael Myers. This
Yeah.
isn't, Jason. Which there's nothing wrong with those, but they definitely exist in a state where like they can barely be harmed and blah 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 blah. Where like he trips or he whatever, and so there's a lot of that in this. The other thing, without saying too much, I'll just say, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a movie called You're Next.
Yeah.
There's a definite. There was a moment
Animal
where I'm
Mouse.
like, oh my god, that was so You're Next, and
Right.
I really love You're Next.
With the. Okay, yeah.
Where it's
Sean's pantomimes right now.
like,
Fantastic.
It's like, well, okay, they're doing what you should do in this situation.
Yeah.
Like, okay, good.
Yeah, that part in the audience cheered.
Yeah, of course.
Like they were screaming.
Yeah, they were yelling.
I think part of what helps give those fights realism is that you don't know who's gonna win.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because especially in that part you're talking about, like, okay, now everything's up for grabs.
Yeah, now everything's up for grabs.
We don't know what's gonna happen next, and then
It really has that throughout the whole movie. I feel that, like, okay, well, what the fuck is gonna happen next?
Yes.
And it without being outlandish. You know how some scary movies are, just movies in general. Like, okay, well, that happened. What could possibly keep going? Like, no, there's no way. And then in this movie, things keep on happening, but it doesn't feel stupid. It feels like, yeah, let's go, let's keep going. Like, I want to see what happens next.
Yes, definitely.
So good.
Yeah, it really was. So, I wish I knew when to tell people to look for it, but again, like, I was surprised to not even find a poster.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing online about it, so I don't know when it's coming out.
The only thing online that I found was a clip about the car coming up.
Okay.
So like that whole thing when they're standing there.
Okay.
That's the only part that's online. So if you want to know anything, that's all they got.
Yeah, I mean, I looked around and like I know Bloody Disgusting did a I played it another. I'm trying to remember, was it Fantastic Fest or something? This was the West Coast premiere because I was even like, was this the world premiere? Like, was this just out of the editing suite like 2 weeks ago or something? Not the case. But I mean, I'm gonna guess. I also don't know if this is like more of an independent release,
Right.
or if this, because Kevin Williamson talked when they interviewed him about like how him and his team, and he's definitely in a position in his career where he would have a team and he can develop a movie, like a production company. I'm assuming where like I have this idea, I'm gonna write a script, and my team will help realize it. But so I don't know if like where it's gonna find a home. I don't know if Kevin Williamson's name automatically guarantees that. I think Dimension might be if I'm not mistaken, that's who did the Screams. And then there was just
Was it on Miramax?
it's one of the two, or no,
I don't remember.
I feel like Dimension is part of Miramax, maybe. I don't know.
I just remember. Well.
But at any rate, so I hope this is going to be in theaters. I feel like it will be.
I would absolutely see it again in theaters.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like I know Kirsten will like it, and I would definitely support it again. Yeah. So closing thoughts.
Go see it.
Yeah, whenever it's out, go see it.
It's so good. I mean, I love a slasher film, but I feel like this is like your classic slasher, but so much better. It's like an elevated.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was hitting the table. I got the bergamot spirit in me. No, I thought it was just so good. It was, like I said, a classic slasher, but not elevated because that sounds douchey.
Did you see Scream 5?
No.
Which is actually the only other one I did like it, but there's a whole discussion about elevated horror.
Oh,
and
see?
One of the characters is like, I like elevated horror. It was fun. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, but it's it's just good.
So I feel like it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people don't consider anything that came out after like a certain year in the 80s to be a slasher film, and the fact is I do consider Scream a slasher film,
For
and
sure.
all of them. And then even like, what did I watch for the first time this year? I Know What You Did Last Thursday Out by the Lake, or whatever the fuck it's called. And
Urban legend.
yeah, I didn't watch it. No.
You haven't seen?
No. I originally when it came out, look, there's a whole corridor of horror movies, and there's just a lot of stuff in the early 2000s that just
Sure.
does not ring well for me, and it didn't so much at the time either. And so that is the period, late 90s, early 2000s, where because of Scream, slasher movies became like, who was just talking about oh god I think it was an interview I heard with Zach Krieger, who did Barbarian. He was interviewed on Colors of the Dark podcast, and he was talking about how he's had, I think it was him, he had this script for a long time, and no, it was not him. Damn it. Whatever the fuck it was, they were talking about how in that corridor of time, late 90s, early 2000s, studios wouldn't touch anything that had like monsters or whatever. They considered it like juvenile because all horror at that time, it had gotten rejuvenated by Scream. It was pretty much dead horror. Then it gets rejuvenated by Scream, and then everything is a Scream knockoff until we get to torture porn, right? So
Yeah.
I know what you did last Friday at the 7-Eleven. Like, I didn't outright hate it, and I think the only reason I didn't outright hate it is because it actually is seaside horror, which is a subgenre I've kind of fallen in love with a little bit over the last couple of years.
Interesting.
But I didn't really like it, and part of that goes to, and I think we were talking about this in the Hellraiser thing the other day, where it's like, everybody in the cast is like a beautiful person.
Yes.
It's just.
It's Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar and, royalty.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. But at any rate, and also another thing about this movie, like, I really liked that the two main girls they just looked like real people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They really there was nothing model about them. They didn't look like models. I mean, models are fine. I'm not anti. No, I'm not anti-model. But when your whole cast is that,
yeah?
It's just I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So.
No, for sure, and even down to like the way they dress. Like, okay, we're being at home, so we're gonna be in fucking sweatpants. Yeah. I really like that. They're not in fucking like jeans and a tube top. Yeah. Which. But you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
if it was the early 2000s, they probably would be, right?
They would have been, right? Well, butterfly clips and some glitter on their face. But they didn't. They were in sweats, like, almost the entire time, I think. Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah. And, like, hoodies or fucking leggings. I thought that was refreshing. And if they were wearing makeup, it was super minimal. They weren't wearing Julia yellow eyeshadow.
Oh, my God.
It was, like, supernatural.
Mm-hmm. Supernatural.
Not the TV show.
No, I know. The phenomenon. But yeah, I mean, and so I feel like the whole thing with slashers at that point, people refuse to acknowledge that they are slashers, and they are slashers. But I don't know. They're modern. It's just not the same thing as what's in the 80s, and even though there's so many similarities, but it just has kind of a different skin on it, and I feel like this is like that, but I don't know, this was something different. This definitely, another reason why it reminded me of Your Next, because Your Next is definitely a slasher film, and it came out at the tail end of that Scream stuff, but or maybe even past the tail end of it, I guess, but it I don't know, it's different somehow. There's
it does it right.
It's more visceral, and it feels like there's stakes on both sides, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it wasn't until like I'm trying to think of like slasher films that have come out relatively recently. I couldn't think of a whole lot. The only one I could think of, I don't even know if this counts. Well, this counts, like a home invader. Is Hush.
I've still never seen Hush.
Ah!
I know, it's a glaring oversight that I have been taken to task for many times.
Hush is so good. You'll like Hush.
Yeah, I know.
Hush is so fucking good. Oh my God. Sean.
There's quite a few. I feel like there's new slashers all the time on Shudder, and it's just the kind of thing that's really below the radar.
No, wait, hold on. I have something to say.
Okay.
And it's, we watched The Dark backwards
Yes.
instead of Hush.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Are you kidding me? We watched Gus play the accordion for an hour 45.
Desi, the three-armed comedian, and his musical accompaniment, Gus. Or is it the wonderful
Music. No, you're right. I mean, I'm still fine because that was an interesting movie and I had a good time watching it. But
Okay, I really, I mean, it's Mike. Hush is Mike Flanagan.
I love.
Multiple friends have just been. Now you guys are on the list. Just like, why have you not seen this? When it hit Netflix, I think it was the home invasion thing. Like, is a weird space for me, and I feel like it can.
Okay, sure.
You know, so I think maybe it just had to do with that, and I definitely need to watch it.
Yeah.
So I'll do that soon.
Because I think I feel. Oh, I'm sorry.
Like there are parallels.
Really?
Both movies are pretty
Completely.
similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, no, they are though, and I feel like that was a recent slasher film that really did it right and was super suspenseful.
Okay.
Like just like you know,
Suspenseful, fun to watch. Both sides are human.
Right.
Well, human in that like you don't know who's gonna win.
You know, it occurs to me, I feel like maybe one of the arguments to where Sick, or maybe having not seen Hush, I don't know, but I guess, and this is devil's advocate, I don't know. So anybody wants to chime in comments on social media, or just send me an email that says "Go fuck yourself."
it'll be me.
I already got your email. Can it be a slasher film if there's not a certain number of victims, right? So if there's a low body count, is it a slasher? Because a slasher essentially, like.
I always felt it was slasher literally because it's
Of
like
slashing.
slashing.
But I feel. I mean, it's a good point. Good point.
Well, like slashing and like a chase, not necessarily physically running, but like cat and mouse, like you know, like a stranger, like the strangers type situation.
Yes.
You know,
I don't know that I consider the first Strangers a slasher movie.
I don't know if I would either because I had an axe.
So then, maybe not. You know,
I mean,
I didn't really think about that, but yeah,
I'm not necessarily saying that we're wrong considering this or Hush like a slasher film. Definitely not saying it. I'm just thinking like maybe that could, devil's advocate, is that like an argument? But either way, it doesn't matter whether you call it a slasher film or whatever you want to call it. This was great.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Hush is great because so many people, now you guys included, are like, oh my god, it was great. So
It's really good.
I definitely need to see it.
But you know me and Mike Flanagan.
Yes.
Love Mike Flanagan.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
There's still there's another one he did on Netflix. Is it like
Nightmare Club?
No, is that the one that just dropped?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bickness was just texting me that he's watching, and I'm like, oh.
Midnight Club.
Midnight Club. My bad. Good catch.
Is that what you said?
I think it's a Nightmare Club.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot.
It's stupid because Midnight Club is a video game, but yeah.
But I think
I'm pretty sure it's Midnight. It is Midnight Club.
Because it's books, right? Isn't it based off like a series of books?
Yes. I forget who the
all
author
the
is.
Goosebumps.
What is he has another? It's like
a movie proper or like a TV show.
A movie. And I keep wanting to say it's like Now I Lay Me, but that's not it. It's
Oculus.
No, because I've seen Oculus Before I Wake.
I don't know that.
I've never seen this one. It's Kate Bosworth, Thomas Jane.
Solid already.
Oh my god, this kid's IMDb picture. Jesus Christ.
Oh, he's that kid. I know that fucking kid.
Alexander Rishlotulov. I tried to hide my not being able to pronounce that. by like
burying
adding in
it
an
under-
accent.
Oh, it was the kid from Doctor Sleep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's one I haven't seen. And they're both on Netflix. I just need to, At some point, he kind of became like a Netflix director. They were directly funding, like, here, make some horror movies for us.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see both of those. I just need to do that.
Oh, this is like classic. Well, no, never mind.
Oof. Midnight Club and why jump scares are overused.
I will say I'm not a huge jump scare fan, but Flanagan does them very well. There's a jump scare in the first season of Hill House or whatever the fuck it's called.
There's another season?
No, you're right. The only season.
No, I thought I missed something.
No, I realized I was thinking, because technically, whatever that.
Bly.
Yeah, so it's not the same thing, but it's kind of, so that's, in my head I was thinking like that. That's incorrect. But anyway, in the Hill House, there's a jump scare that is.
Is it the one in the car?
Yeah.
Because that pissed me off. I'm not going to lie.
Dude.
I think it's because it scared me so bad, but also because he was doing so well with not doing jump scares, and then he fucking did that, which it seemed like a cheap shot to me. I mean, it was still good, but fuck you.
I mean, I'm never really a big fan. I'm like, oh, okay, you got me. Like, usually you don't get me. Sometimes they get me. I feel like there was something in
Bly, right?
something we saw this weekend in the theater where I like actually kind of jumped, and I was like I even knew it was coming. I don't know if it was Beyond.
No, I think it was Sick. I think there was something in Sick that made us all like, oh fuck.
Yeah, but this was something. I'm thinking of something that like I had seen before. Maybe it was when we saw.
Barbarian?
Yeah, it might have been Barbarian.
Oh, there was for sure a scene in Barbarian that I was like, eh.
Yeah, like I knew that it was coming. I still jumped.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
Well, we saw a lot of movies. After Sick, to the listeners, we were able to then see Lucio Fulci's The Beyond, which reinstilled my passion to become a doctor that has a gun in his desk. For sure. That used to be my dream as a child. I was like, I want to be a doctor with a gun in my desk.
I have always wanted to threaten somebody with an autopsy, so that was a fun movie.
Suicidal Gen Zers should take up house painting.
Yes, agreed. Finish this wall by tonight. Bye. Oh my god.
Literally, I legitimately, no joke, busted a blood vessel in my eye from laughing so hard. Like, I have a bloody eye, well, not a bloody eye, but like a red eye now because that movie made me laugh so fucking hard. I cried, and now I've got blood in my eye.
I love that movie, but it is, I mean, and it plays well with the Beyondfest crowd because people were laughing.
It was me. I was people.
Well, everybody was laughing at certain stuff.
That's true.
But it's especially seeing it for the first time. It's what in the fuck is happening right now. It is one you have to kind of adjust for.
Right, and a good like 4 beers in.
Yeah, definitely.
That was helpful.
Oh my god.
No, that was fun. Our Beyondfest experiences are really good,
I'm glad.
especially for the first time.
Yeah.
We saw some really incredible films, with the exception of one. Well, I still had fun, but it wasn't great.
That's funny. Okay, well, any closing thoughts? I think I already asked that.
Yeah, I think I really want to reiterate to go see it in theaters. I think like tonight we were lucky enough to go see Something in the Dirt by Benton and Moorhead, and they got to do a Q&A afterwards, and that part that was it Aaron?
I believe it was Aaron, but I feel like they all reiterated that.
Like he just, I don't know, that one, like, it kind of touched me. I don't know, because I'm a big Benton and Moorhead fan, so just seeing them talk, but they were like, please just like go see movies and like just blast that shit. Like, just tell people, no matter how, like, I would love it if it was our movie, but honestly, anything you see at the Beyond, because these are like smaller films that are trying to get bigger, reach wider audiences, we don't have the money that the big
You're
studios
not going to see
have.
it on the bus stop or the billboard.
Exactly, and that was really like, yeah, man, you're right.
Yeah.
So I would love to reiterate to go see Sick,
Yeah.
and Something in the Dirt.
And Barbarian and Pearl
And Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat.
Theaters.
Oh, Trick or Treat, yeah, that's gonna be out in theaters. Go fucking see that. Even if you've seen it, I'm gonna go see it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it again. Especially the idea that we may, that Michael Dougherty said in the post-film interview that basically he said he had to be very careful how he discussed it, but that despite some false starts where he had said, "Oh, there's gonna be a sequel," and it hasn't happened yet, he said it is in active development, which he was very careful to note is not the same as being greenlit. But he said if you really want to see a sequel, go see it in the theater. And this will be for some younger listeners, or the movie was never in the theater.
Yeah.
Which is shocking when you see it.
Yeah.
Especially when you see it on a little screen, you're like, how was it in this theater? When you see it in the theater, you're like, oh my god.
Well, and not only the movie itself, which is obviously fantastic, but the
Yeah.
fucking cast.
Yeah.
Like, how was this not in the theater?
But that was that same corridor, right? In the 2000s, where this is another example of what also Cabin in the Woods, like that movie sat on a shelf at MGM for 3 years. And I remember, and I just remember, because I was a Whedon fan, and because
Will or Jaws?
the what?
Bad
no,
joke.
Will
Bad joke.
Wheaton.
Yeah, but it's clone.
Yeah, it's close. Okay.
We'll edit that in post again.
It's easy
Cut
one.
that.
Easy. Oh, hey.
Okay. Well, on that note, then,
Yeah. Talking about something completely
go
different.
see Sick.
Yes.
And Cabin in the Woods, and Trick or Treat, and George Romero's Dawn of the Dead will also be in theaters in 3D.
No, it's in 3D?
Yeah, this month, and it's good 3D. I saw it a couple years ago at Beyondfest.
Really?
The original producer Paul Rubenstein, that was like a labor of love to get it like retro fitted for, I don't know if that's the way you say it, but for 3D, and it turned out really good. And yeah, I mean, I think the pandemic probably delayed the release. And now it's going to be out this month. So get to see Dawn of the Dead on a big screen.
Fuck, okay.
It's pretty cool. So, okay, for the Horror Vision, I'm Sean.
I was Kenta.
I'm Madison.